Brittany. I'm a self-love coach, self-care connoisseur, and supplement enthusiast. This podcast is all about taking your power back in your own life by creating a killer self-care routine and discovering a love for all parts of you. Mind, body, and soul. Being a mom is fucking hard, and that's not even including the mental roller coaster you go on to discover who you are as a person again. I'm here to help you regain your confidence and stop putting yourself on the back burner. You can't have it all. You already seen what the podcast is about today, so I want you to play this when you need to hear the truth or have some sort of reality check. And I know this doesn't really sound like it based off of the title. This is a pep talk, believe it or not. Crazy thing. Didn't know if you knew this, but social media is a dream world. It's like a fantasy book. You see a glimpse of the hard times, the big picture. It seems so much better than reality, and we still would rather live in a fantasy world than our own life. Why is that? I believe that some part of it is what I like to call Cinderella syndrome. It's where everything seems so black and white. The pretty girl gets the guy, they live happily ever after, and the step bitches fuck off. Now, in reality, the step bitches are haters, and that prince or princess probably has just as much trauma and baggage as any other human being. Some of us can run a pattern of perfectionism, needing everything to look and be and sound and feel perfect. Desiring a life that, quite frankly, isn't a reality with the mindset we currently have. I heard this saying the other day, and I can't remember who said it, but I know it was real. People try to have, do, be when they should be, then do, then have. Let me explain. You can't have the things that a millionaire has until you become one, right? So you need to do the things and show up as that millionaire so you can have the things of a millionaire. And that works with really any type of lifestyle that we're wanting to live, whether it's changing your mindset, living a healthy lifestyle, whatever that looks like. We have to become and show up as that person every single day in the decisions we make, in the way that we are, in who we are, so that way we can have the things that those type of people have. So turns out, as I've said, as moms specifically, we just can't have it all. Now, before you pull out the pitchforks and demand that I retract that statement, especially when this is quite literally desiccating everything that I've been preaching for the last 3 years, I want you to hear me out. This doesn't mean you can't have an amazing, fulfilling, and totally extraordinary life. It just means you need to reevaluate some of the goals, ideas, and plans to accommodate the life phase you're currently in. Someday when our kids are grown, we'll have the chance to take those dance classes or book that week-long retreat. But if you are in a phase of life when you're doing everything for your babies, then let me help you out here. I am totally all for the life is short movement. But also as a family, we have long-term goals. And so some of these things may or may not be feasible, which is totally okay. So I want to dive in because this is such a deep topic that has lots and lots of layers. In my life right now, I have a 5-year-old and a 3-month-old. I don't have a ton of extra time to do everything that I want to do in my life, but I prioritize myself and my well-being over everything. I make a conscious effort to put me first. So when you're on a plane and they tell you to put your mask on before helping anyone else, right? If you don't save yourself, you aren't really helping anyone else by suffering. The whole plane will likely fall apart if you let that happen, and your children and loved ones will most likely be the people who get burned. And I know it's dark, but you really do need to understand how incredibly important this truly is. I also want to add a little disclaimer in here that in no way am I saying going out, partying, getting fucked up, or using any other unhealthy coping mechanisms as self-care. Now, that can look like escapism, and trust me, it's rough. I've been there. But it can be a much deeper thing than just having fun. Yes, I'm using air quotes. So as a homeschooling mom of 2 with her kids quite literally 24/7. I'm with them constantly. It is super hard, and some days can seem like you have zero energy and need 3 days of sleep to recover. This is where the mindset work and making that conscious decision to adjust your life and your habits to fit what you need. So if you're in a really busy, chaotic season, like most of us with littles are, and say you're wanting to run a business, or you're working on your physical health, or whatever goals that you have for yourself, I don't want you to scale back. I don't want you to not think big, and I definitely don't want you to give up. What are the priorities? Do this practice with me as we drop into our body and we start to really ask ourselves in our subconscious what we truly desire in life. What do we want our life to look like? So let's drop in for just a second together. Now, if you're driving or doing something that requires you to have your full attention, and maybe your eyes open, don't do this. Save this for a little bit later when you have that chance. So what kind of life do you want to live? Drop in, close your eyes if you can. You can even soften your gaze if you don't feel like you want to close your eyes. That's totally fine too. But I find closing my eyes really does help a lot because it shuts off one of my other senses. Really lets me dive in a little bit deeper, closing my eyes, really locking into my body and connecting. What do you truly desire out of life? What kind of life do you want to live? What does this look like for me, my family? And what roles do they play in this? Now, whatever answers are coming up for you, note those. You can jot them down in a notebook. You can do this later and maybe elaborate a little more on them. And really just let your body and your mind tell you what you desire. Now, over the next few days, think about this. Grow on it. Use your spiritual mind to let whatever answers, as crazy as they seem, it does not matter. Let those come to you. And after the next few days, after you've taken that time and you've really let that kind of like brew in your body, in your system, and let whatever needs to come up for you. It can be the notes in your phone, a journal, a piece of paper you keep around the house that you know you'll be able to jot down really quick as you notice. And then come back to it later if you feel like you need to. And we're just brainstorming here. We are using whatever comes up, whatever's like, oh, I might want to do that. I might want to do this. And we're just going to bring it all up. This would look really cool. I would love to have this type of morning routine. I would love to do this every day. I would love to stop doing something every day. Literally whatever comes up. And then after we've kind of let that brew in our systems, we can go back with our logic mind and realize actually this wouldn't look like these don't line up at all. Like I'm homeschooling, right? So if I wanted to get a job outside of the home, for me, that doesn't look like something that I would want. Yes, I want more income coming into my household, but getting a 9-to-5 Monday through Friday job does not work for me. I don't have an extra babysitter, and we as a family have decided that daycare isn't for us. So that probably wouldn't work, right? So we need to see where those things kind of clash and which ones are like, no, I need to make this happen. Mark little hearts next to them, mark little X's, whatever you need to as you start to use your logical brain. And you can kind of dive through on your own, looking at those things and trying to figure out, okay, first of all, what do I need to do to have this life? What steps do I need to take? And also making sure that that's something you really, really want. Diving in with yourself, looking into yourself, and making sure that that is something you want. And then trying to make it happen for yourself. Now, once we've kind of dove into figuring out what we truly desire in life, what kind of person we want to be kind, generous, and it could be so much as crazy, like, not crazy, but a big goal, a big dream of living life as like being financially stable or being a millionaire. It doesn't have to be so extreme, but it doesn't have to be so tamed down either. There's such a broad spectrum of where you feel like you want to be in your life. Just because social media says you need to have all this money and be rich and go on these trips and have the mansion and all this does not necessarily mean it's what you desire. Making sure it feels true in your body. And if you're not sure, you're still unsure after asking. This is where I like to tell people, take time sitting with your body and dropping in. And I know with this crazy time that you're in that we're talking about, it can be hard to sit with yourself and for just a few minutes. It's going to feel weird. It's going to feel tough. Like, oh, I don't want to do this. I have so many other things to do. But just 5 minutes of connecting with yourself, it can do wonders for your mental health. Especially if you're a stay-at-home mom. You don't really get that time to kind of like check out. You're kind of always in it. That 24/7 thing. But even if you're not a mom at all, having those few minutes in your crazy chaotic times, making sure you're sitting with yourself is important too. I'm going to leave you with this. Whatever came up for you in that few minutes or those few days, depending on how long you actually did take to really dive in and see what you want, I want you to break that up. Break up the things that you do every day. Break up the things that you want to start adding in. And not necessarily by tasks, but by priority. So when we're in a chaotic time, like you're in right now, I'll leave you with this. What are your top priorities in this busy season? What are the goals you don't want to let go? What are the things that you can let go of, that you need to let go of? Which ones can you relax and release on? And I hope this helped you in some sort of way unlock a few little answers for yourself for this busy season in your life. It's not forever. I know sometimes it can feel like, oh my gosh, when is this going to end? But you're not alone. And I have a Facebook Messenger community if you feel like you need to rant, rave, whatever you need to do, receive some support, guidance, or even just to talk and be held in a busy, crazy season. I know that's kind of what I'm living in right now, but I know there is an end to it, and the busy and the crazy that I'm putting into it right now will come into fruition one day, and I will be so happy that I pushed through and I did it, and I know you will be too. Please feel free to leave me a review if this did help you in any sort of way. I try to kind of keep these short just because I know as busy people, we don't have a lot of time. And sometimes a 1-hour podcast is just not doable for us. So just leave me a review. Let me know if there's anything else you want to hear. And I just appreciate you listening. And thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a review and share with another mama who could use some support. If you'd like to connect with me elsewhere, I'm on Instagram and TikTok. All my social links will be in the show notes. And just remember to love yourself and do something for you every single day.